This is ineffective.
I don't even know what it was at first.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Rachel, if you have...
order! Order! It is set.
Finish my conversation. Lord.
David, she's on
I'll pull out the bigger gavel. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the June 27th, 2023 Tenino City Council work session. Let the record show that all council members are present for the work session. We have two items of discussion on the agenda. One is RV ordinance, the other is proposed dog park location. I will start with RV ordinance. This is one we've talked about over several meetings. At the last meeting, maybe 2 meetings ago, it was asked that some council members do a little work session, and Councilmember Lawton, Councilmember Godovac met and made some proposed suggested changes, which I can kind of go over and we can talk about, and then some of them still aren't in here. So in the first paragraph, recreational vehicle or travel trailer located on a residential lot of record may be temporarily occupied for a period of, I should say, no more than 30 days.
What is it not showing that?
It said 120 days.
But that's because it's referencing the things down below. Like this first thing when they're doing the development on their property.
Okay, so what? Yeah, the one that we were bringing forward tonight, the proposal was that we could, you get 15 days, say grandma wants to come and stay, you get 15 days, you don't need a permit. If you want to go longer than 15 days, you can get a permit and someone can stay up to 30. That's it. If you have extenuating circumstances, say you have a building permit, say your relative's house burned down, say somebody's in, some type of situation where they need some supportive help and they're a family member or friend or whatever, then you can apply for an additional 30 days, okay, but no more than 60. Okay. And the permit would have to be pre-approved. So this is saying that you could stay up to 30 days subject to compliance with standards set forth in this section. Recreational travel trailers, tents located within a recreational vehicle park, public areas, subject to standards set forth. Temporary occupancy within the city limits. Only a recreational vehicle or travel trailer located on a lot developed with a principal dwelling unit or dwelling unit under construction or remodel may be occupied for the temporary time consistent with the length of the building permit and be renewed up to an additional 30 days as determined by city without permission of another permit application.
Now, that next little paragraph right there, that doesn't make sense to me.
Which one?
Occupancy of RVs or travel trailers on developed residential property of less than 15 consecutive days within the 120-day period do not need city approval.
So if somebody wants to just come and stay for up to 15 days, they don't need city approval? Within a 120-day period.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Now it makes sense, yeah.
So you can't go 15 days, move out a day, come back 15 days. But if you have a guest that comes and stays for 15 days, that's fine. Right. 15-day cannot be renewed until exactly 1 year from the first permit. Recreational vehicles or travel trailers shall be in good working order. 15 days allowed after 15 more are allowed with permit. With permit for extenuating circumstances, they may be allowed to occupy RV for an additional 30 days. City permit must be issued in advance. You've got to have a developed lot. City staff will prepare applications. Recreational vehicle or travel trailer may be occupied for up to 15 days per year without a temporary use permit. The recreational vehicle or travel trailer shall be removed from the lot at the end of the 15-day period, except the recreational vehicle or travel trailer may remain on site unoccupied if the person or entity in control of the prop is the legal or registered owner.
Yep.
So only one permit per household. conversation.
Yep.
So they get the 15 days already, because that's already a thing, and then they can get the permit for 15 days, and they can't apply for another 15 days for a year
Yep.
from that
Correct.
original permit. Okay. So it gives them 30 days upfront already.
Yes.
And they
Okay, I
still
think-
get, and they're still gonna be allowed, if they're building or remodeling, to stay there for the length of that building permit.
And
Yes.
then, like Wayne was
Okay.
saying, if there is a fire or
Right,
emergency, then they can extend that.
Another 30 days.
Okay. No, I think that's fair.
Well, you've heard me before on this. I don't think it's right that they have to ask permission to use their property as they see fit. As long as they're not breaking any laws, they're not doing drugs, they're not doing prostitution or anything like that on that property. Why are we, as a city council, the only form of government that we have here in Tenino, trying to make it so that we can go on their property to inspect whenever we feel like? We're not supposed to be making laws that could put somebody like this, in this type of a situation, in a position where the city can just walk on their property. If they're getting complaints from their neighbors, then that's a different story. Falls under a whole lot of different other laws that are already part of the state. So as far as them doing something wrong, it's covered. There's a whole bunch of different things that can be done. But if somebody puts an RV on their property so that they can have get their family or friends come stay for a little while or whatever, as long as they're not breaking any laws, we don't really have any real jurisdiction. We should not have any real jurisdiction. We should not be able to tell them how they can use their property as long as they're not breaking the laws that are already existing. Part of those laws are the health concerns and electrical. As long as they know that that their house needs to have whatever it takes if they're going to hook it up to the house.
I think it's important to understand that if somebody stays longer than 15 days now, they are breaking laws. So the laws as they are written right now only allows somebody to stay 15 days on somebody's property in their travel trailer. So this proposed change is more permissive
Yeah.
to property owners than the current law.
Yeah, there's
So-
already an ordinance.
So, yeah, there is already an ordinance that restricts the property use, and this new amended ordinance would lessen those restricted uses and allow people more use of their property. So I understand what you're saying, and when you're saying that as long as they're not breaking laws, it's okay. Right now, as it sits, they are breaking laws, and we're looking to remedy that.
Yeah, we've addressed that the last time we spoke on this. I don't think that we should have a law pertaining to this as it stands, that the city shouldn't. There's all kinds of health laws and all kinds of other laws that if somebody's breaking them and they get called by their next door neighbor saying, hey, Joe Blow's doing this, then we can go in there. That's a whole different subject. But just to have an RV for their friends and family to come and stay, and then to have to come to the city to get a permit, and if there are 10 permits already, just throwing the number out there, people already have used up the 10 permits.
That's not,
You're
we took
basically saying
that out.
Okay, but still, why are we trying as a city to tell somebody what they can do with their property when there's already a bunch of rules and regulations and laws throughout the state and county that we can fall back upon? We don't need to have this. This is people having to come to the city to ask permission to use their property.
Okay.
And I do not believe that's what government is supposed to do.
Okay. Any other comments?
Just this is a recreational vehicle. They're not made to be lived in for a long period. So
It's still their property.
Well, the way I look at it, John, it's preventative care.
It's
preventative care
theirs.
for the
That's
city,
right.
for the individuals, for the people that live there, to keep, to keep the city from becoming where it's like a big campground. And it's to prevent the people who are having people stay, making sure that they don't stay long-term.
You know, I've lived here, I think you've lived here all your life, but as an adult,
Most, yeah.
as an adult, I've been here 35 years and have never seen that problem.
It
Isn't
it
that
happens just down the road. We
right
don't
up the
allow
road?
people putting doghouses in their backyard and living in them either. It's the same. It's the
You
same
know, the whole-
argument.
The thing is, 35 years ago, there wasn't the problem of the homeless people that there are now. Right now, they're spreading out all over, and we don't need that here.
I know, I've
And we-
warned,
I'll
I've
tell you,
warned that whistle
I
plenty
was
of times.
challenged one day on this ordinance by somebody. And I said, well, and it happened to be somebody who was was gonna be here pretty soon, Jenny, the YTY property down here. I said, okay, now right behind the property that you own, Glenn and Judy Logan own from that little house all the way over. What if they sold that piece of property and somebody?
Ron is yelling
I
at
am.
me. Okay.
And somebody decided they wanted to put an RV park in there. Would be nothing we could do about it, because it's their property. We need to have an ordinance. We need rules in the city if we're
If
going.
you're talking about where I think you're talking about, right across the street from the school, that's not zone commercial, so they couldn't put an
Well,
RV
well then
park
how
in
is
there.
how is Judy and Glenn, how do they have ash logging there then? It's not zone commercial.
There was, it was zoned afterwards apparently, but
Tenino has
Regardless,
a.
that's,
they
that's
wanted-
an example of what I'm talking
if,
about.
and again, it's a what if. If they come in and somebody does that and they want to put an RV park in, where do they have to go first? They can't just build an RV park, just like somebody just can't build a house. You have to come to the city to get the proper permits for it.
Tenino has the lowest crime rate, and it's because of ordinances like this.
Yeah, so what we have now is more restrictive than this. This allows additional use for folks that have RVs. It's up to you guys what we do with it. Again, this is not on the agenda. This is just in the work session. There was some other language that we were looking at, stealing from Ocean Shores and maybe putting it in here, to kind of see what they do. As it sits right now, what you guys do with it is up to you. You're the legislators. We could,
So do we pass it back to the planning committee?
you could make a motion tonight to put this on the agenda, and you could make a recommendation to move it as it's presented tonight to the planning commission. They did not give us a recommendation previously to do anything with it. They just handed it over to us, and we could ask them for more deliberation since that's where it came from, and or you could throw it out and start over. You could make substantive changes. You could pass it as it is. You could send it to the attorney. I think sending it back to the planning commission is not a bad idea since they brought it to us. But I would give them specific guidelines. Like I would say, here's your proposed ordinance back. Tell us what you think. What are your recommendations? Have it back to us in 60 days.
Sounds good.
So if you want to do that tonight when we pass the agenda, make a motion to amend the agenda to add RV ordinance under old business, and you can do that. Next subject on the work session is proposed dog park location. Jen, did you want to talk about this?
I think it's been a little while since we talked about this. I believe it was
It's been talked about a little bit.
It's been talked about a little bit. So Judy Kreiderman, world's greatest.
Greatest what?
Greatest everything. She's
Okay.
the best, right? She had this idea that we need, when we get a dog, we have to put it at Public Works, and that's kind of an issue. So she started like thinking about all the things that we need. We need a dog kennel. No, we need a dog park. And then it became this idea. So she started raising a little bit of money. I think she has just under $2,000, and the Park Foundation.
Yep.
It is a foundation,
Park
right?
Foundation
Yeah.
of Thurston County.
So they have approached her, or she's approached them, and they said that they would take that under their wing, and that would give her opportunity to apply for grants to get this dog park going. So that being said, she's like, where do we start? How do we get the ball rolling here? I think the first place is to come to you guys and discuss it. We all know we had this great pump track idea years ago, and it was like, let's put it in the triangle, and then it became too big for the triangle. So we have that little triangle spot on Park Ave.
Wouldn't we have to hire a person to stay there and take care of it?
No. This wouldn't be where dogs live.
Nope,
This is
it's just a
this
fence.
This is completely separate from.
Yeah, sorry, I
dogs
started
that
with
are
the
taken
kennel
into
thing, and then
custody.
that made it
It
confusing.
just got,
Yeah.
Jen was saying that it just got Judy thinking about dog amenities.
Oh,
You
but
know,
this
like
is,
over at Thurston County, the Thurston County landfill, there's the dog park just before you come in.
Yeah, so.
Yelm just got
For them
one.
to play.
It's a big deal.
It's a fenced area where you can take your
Run
dog to
around.
play and take them off the
take them off
leash.
leash.
We have a giant problem at our park right now on our baseball fields, which we're trying to make nicer. People let their dogs off because it's fenced.
Yeah.
And I understand, but they poop and then they leave it, and it's a whole thing.
And they
And
don't
I
pick
know
it up.
this would help our public works if they actually had a real place for a dog to be, so.
So the consideration is for people to start thinking about if we would want to purpose that triangle as a dog park.
I think it's a great idea.
Basically, for Judy to work with the Park Foundation, they want a commitment from the city saying, yeah, you can put a dog park, and here's
Yeah.
where we have that you could put it, basically.
So this is our first time talking about it really openly. Part of the process here is Mr. Fisher writing down his notes and getting that out to the public. And then we would be also looking for public comment from folks before we make any decisions. If anybody's got any thoughts, anybody out in the world out there has any thoughts, they can email the city. They can come in and provide public comment.
And everybody knows what spot we're talking about, right? On Park Avenue, Park and, is
They're
that
not-
4th?
No,
Fifth.
No.
Fifth.
Is it, no, that goes
You
this
live on
way.
5th, right? Yeah, it's where.
Isn't it McClellan? Or,
No.
Park and
Well,
Fifth.
MacArthur?
Park and 5th and
Park,
MacArthur.
MacArthur, and Fifth.
It's a triangle.
It's a triangle.
triangle.
There's all kinds of streets. Thank you.
So we want to get it out there. We encourage the council members to speak to their constituents and float the idea out there, and we'll try to vet it, and that's kind of where it's at. So I don't know what our next step is. Maybe a public hearing, maybe a public notice to the people that live in the area that we're considering this, and then we would just look for feedback. And then depending on what kind of feedback we get, maybe we pass a resolution saying that we're interested in committing that area and let Judy go forth and fundraise.
Good.
Is that?
You need to find out for insurance, what the insurance concerns are.
Yep.
I can
That's all
absolutely
part
find
of
that
the
out.
process, I believe.
Yep. Anything else? Bless you. All right, reports. Chamber of Commerce. What do we have from George?
George couldn't be here tonight. Oregon Trail Days meeting is the 3rd of July. That's, of course, the last one. 5:30 Sandstone Cafe. The Chamber Lunch Forum is July 19th, noon Sandstone Cafe, and we will be announcing the Grand Marshal and Citizen of the Year. Now, Oregon Trail Days is July 21st through 23rd. And Steady had a great meeting June 16th with 38 in attendance, including representatives from 3 congressional staff members. Mayor was speaker and did a ribbon cutting for the Quarry House. July Steady meeting is canceled. Thurston County Board meeting is tomorrow. And they're going to give an update on the Ag Park. The arch banners are being finished, and I've seen them and they're great. And George is attending the State Arts Commission Creative District convening at Port Townsend tomorrow, and Thursday we'll be back to Arts Commission and City Council next month. Thanks for giving me my report. There you go.
Thank you, George / Linda. VCB, no report. South Thurston Fire,
No report.
Library. You're up.
Did. Okay, there we go. Linda McKinney, manager of the Tenino Timberland Library. Hi, everybody. Just a quick report, just a couple of things that are going on. We are still we are kind of, I don't know, a couple weeks into summer library program, and it's pretty exciting to see people come in and ask about summer library program and get library cards. Some of them don't have library cards, so it's great that we're seeing more of the community come in. We've already had a couple of successful events, so that's fun. And our next one is going to be on the Jubilee, July 8th, 2 o'clock in the park. We're sponsoring Jeff Evans, the magician, who's fantastic, local magician out of Olympia. So that will be a lot of fun. And then the next thing, it has to do with Oregon Trail Days. The day before everything gets kicked off on July 20th, we're hosting a author event for Brian Mickey and Carrie Searle, who wrote the wrote the second edition of a book on George Washington, Centralia's founder. And so a lot of connection with the Oregon Trail and Pioneer Days, so that's going to be very interesting. 5:30 on July 20th at the library. But the big news is we have officially started the expanded access hours, where people can come in and get their opt into the program, where they can get a key fob or a key card to access the library between 7 a.m. and when the library opens, and 5 p.m. when the library closes to 8 p.m. on the days that we're open. And then days that we're not open, like Sunday, Monday, and holidays, they can come in from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So things like using the computer, or printing things off, picking up your holds, browsing, all of those things are available if you opt into the expanded access hours. We did have a little technical glitch just after we started on the 15th, sadly, but all fixed now. And so we've had 10 people already sign up, and we expect that number to go up as more people are getting the word that that's an option. And so super exciting, especially for people who commute, who have non-traditional schedules, who are just busy and forget to get to the library before 5 o'clock. So I think it's an awesome thing that we're able to offer here in Tenino. So that's it for me, unless you have any questions.
Any questions for Linda?
I do. Can I come in and get some of those
Yeah,
handouts?
yeah, I have them already ready for you. Just ask at the front
Okay.
desk. If you don't see me, obviously, I can help you too.
Thank you.
So sure, no
Thank
problem.
you, Linda. Museum report. Tenino Community Service Center. Did you have something from Jody, you said?
It's kind of on my report, so
Okay.
give it then.
Facade Improvement Grant Review Committee.
Nothing.
Planning Commission. Public Safety Chief of Police.
I was going to have Officer McClellan's report an incident that he and Officer Lee were involved in.
Good.
All right. Hello, I'm Officer McClellan, Mr. Mayor, Council. On Monday, we got word from dispatch from Lewis County that they got probable cause for robbery in the second degree, which is strong-armed robbery. They attempted a pit maneuver, which is a pursuit termination maneuver, where you touch the side of the vehicle and they hopefully spin out. It was a failed pit from Lewis County side, and they lost sight of the vehicle heading northbound on 507. So South Thurston units and Tenino were, 507 runs right through Tenino, so we got our ears perked up and started looking for it. A Thurston County deputy found it first right outside of Bucota. Myself and Officer Lee tried to lay spikes, but by the time they were in our area, it was too late. We couldn't get the spikes, so we just jumped in with the pursuit. That fortunately, no property and no vehicles were damaged, as we went about 80 miles an hour through Sussex Avenue, and then got up to about 114 before we got to Rainier, where Thurston County took over the pursuit again and did a successful pit maneuver on the vehicle just outside of Rainier. Both occupants of the vehicle are now in custody. They said they tried calling 911 during the pursuit, and they were trying to say that there was a baby in the car, which would automatically make us stop pursuing for that. But luckily, the Thurston County deputy saw in the car as they were passing him, and there was only those two occupants that he was sure of. So it ended up that only one injury from the driver. He had some glass hit him in the back of the ear. He went to the hospital, and as far as I know, he's fine. But it's phenomenal that we're able to work with outside agencies. We wish we could have stopped it before it got into Tenino, but as pursuits go very fast, it's difficult to stop it before. Do I have any questions about the incident? All right, perfect.
What did they use to break the window?
It's called a 40 millimeter.
It says
Yeah, it's a soft round. I wouldn't want to get hit with it, but it's a dense foam projectile, strong enough to go through a window, and the deputies used it. It's a great deterrent. It's also used in place of a less lethal shotgun because they're not as scary looking as a shotgun is. So it's a great tool. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to add something real quick. Officer McClellan briefly touched on it. I think this is a great example of a lot of the work that we've done in the past year and a half in strengthening relationships with Thurston County and surrounding agencies, that they're readily asking for our help now. And likely the pursuit would have had a different outcome had we not picked it up with the single county unit that was by himself with it. And this is also another great example of a lot of the hard work that our legislators have done to try to readjust some of the pursuit policies, because this is a serious crime. This is a robbery, which is a lot different than a theft in the way that it's the forceful taking of property from a person. And those are the type of people that we do want to chase when we weigh the public safety risk with the risk of the pursuit. And due to the fact that we are in training with Thurston County and other local agencies, and our policies mirror their policies, it was seamless that we were able to help out, and we were glad to be able to do that. So.
Thank you. Do you have a report from Public Works?
I do. I have Rainey's too. Is he before?
No, he's later. You'll have to come up for that too.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. 2 weeks. Public Works. Pump track is up and open and a hit. The fencing is supposed to be going in this week between the parking lot and the playground, and then they're also fencing off around the pump track and the playground to keep bikes separated. Pool lifeguards. We have had 3 more applications today, so we're very excited. We got an update. Concrete is being poured, I believe, this week and next, but they are saying July 20th, which is before Oregon Trail Day, so we're still being hopeful. If anything, we may only open up the kiddie side this season, which is better than nothing. So, putting that out there. Corey House is just finishing up. The railing went on the front door today, as well as the front steps. It looks fantastic. Public Works is reading meters right now. They've been sweeping streets now that the weather is good, and they have a vacancy. We were very sad to lose Derek. It is posted on our website as well as the Facebook page.
Thank you. All right, we will close the work session and take a 30-second recess.
I could have got mine in 30 seconds. On purpose.
You think you're so funny.
you didn't see Linda jumping.
Take all the joy out of it.
My name's spelled wrong in the minutes.
Uh-oh.
That's my fault. I apologize. 2 T's, got it. I saw it later in the day.
No
We're
worries. I
fixing
just figured it was
I'm so
either a
sorry.
big deal or no big deal.
And Madison told me to tell you hi. Hi.
Hello.
It's the worst to get your name spelled wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the June 27th, 2023 Tenino City Council meeting. Let the record show all council members are present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have an agenda before us needing approval.
So moved.
Second.
Hold on.
Okay.
You had, during the work session,
Oh, that's
you'd
right.
said you were going to do some things. So if you don't want to make a second and you want to
Nope.
propose an agenda with any changes, you would say, I make a motion to approve the agenda with the following changes.
Yeah, I make a motion to
Hold
the
on.
agenda.
You can't do that yet. He's got a motion on the floor. You withdraw your second. He's still got a motion on the floor. It can die without a second, or he can.
Second.
No.
Oh,
Nobody's second.
take your second
You
back.
want it to die.
Yes, take your
Oh.
second back.
I take it back.
Okay.
Can't have it.
All right, we
Just
have
let it die for lack of motion.
we have no second. I would like to entertain a motion from the floor to approve the agenda, maybe with some amendments. I don't know.
Yeah, we want to make some amendments to the agenda.
Say, I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda with the addition of RV ordinance to old business. That's what you'd want to say.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
Just
that's
like
what I
that.
said.
What Wayne said.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve the agenda with the addition of
The
RV ordinance under old business. Do we have a second?
I said second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Good job, good job. We have minutes for the 6:13 meeting.
No approval.
It's been moved to
Second.
approve. It's been seconded. Is there any discussion about the meeting minutes from the 13th? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Consent calendar. This is consent calendar consisting of June 14th, 2023 through June 27th, 2023. Payroll EFTs in the amount of $32,222.83. Claims checks number 31484 through 31508 and EFTs in the amount of $91,803.37 for a grand total of $124,026.20 with no liquor or cannabis license.
Move approval.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent calendar as presented. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. We have no executive session. Presentations. Our first presentation is from Tenino Police Chief Bobby J. Otterer.
Bobby
formal.
J.
Robert.
Mr. Mayor, Council, thank you. Does everyone have a?
You make sure, is that turned on so that they capture you?
There we go.
Thank you.
Does everyone have the PowerPoint in front of them?
Yes.
There we go. So, at any point in time, feel free to stop me. I'll try not to just burn through these and read to everybody because you're going to have the slides in front of you as well. I would like it to be obviously an open dialogue. If any time you need clarification on something or it broken down into plain language or us to just turn this into a conversation, let's do that. So, first slide is the current pay scale for the Tenino Police Department. These are approximate, but very close. It's really hard to drill down an exact figure because the schedule that the police department works under it's not a 40-hour work week. It's actually it's a little bit more, and it's a 171 or 173-hour work cycle. So they actually are required to work more hours than a 40-hour employee. So when I'm comparing our salary scale to other agencies' salary scale, it's hard to compare apples to apples. So we kind of had to do some averages, but they're all really close. And when we were in doubt for the purpose of this presentation, I erred on the side of inflating our pay scale as to not throw a low number down to try to sway decisions or opinions. So we'll see this slide again throughout the presentation. So as everyone's aware, public safety and local crime trends are increasing. Officer recruitment and retention are and traditionally have been challenges facing all cities. Those very issues have been magnified in recent years by current events. Most cities are experiencing significant police officer and recruitment issues. Smaller cities face even larger issues. There are agencies in the I-5 corridor that are down 600 officers. The city of Tenino's current police officer pay scale is the lowest in specifically Thurston County, but also in all of Western Washington. So for those of you that aren't aware with how civil service and police and fire pay scales are formulated, is they're typically calculated by comparable agencies based on population and geographic area. So since we are the smallest city in Thurston County, comping us with La Push or somewhere on the coast by itself doesn't really match up, because we can't attract from that applicant pool just like they can't attract from ours. So we have a mix of what's a fair comp and what's not, and we'll get into that here in just a second. Currently, the city has 2 officers that have applied for other agencies, with 1 actively moving through the background process. Both officers expressed a sincere desire to stay, but due to 1, the pay scale, and 2, the cost of health care benefits for spouses and dependents at 40% of the officer's salary, they just can't. While other agencies are including benefits for all family members along with a large pay bump. So I just wanted to take a break here. This is a difficult topic, and it's stressful because it's finance, it's budget, it's money. And oftentimes as the chief, and I know that other chiefs have experienced the same thing in other cities, and I'm assuming here as well, that, I often, carry the burden of having to juggle this with my boss and the council and officers. And, sometimes I find myself in the line of fire. So I would like to just express that I understand the position of the city. I understand the position of budgets. I understand how budgets work. But I feel like I would be remiss in my duty if I weren't expressing the challenges that we are facing here, irrespective of our current budget position. So next slide here. Examples of nearby agencies. So Thurston County starts out at $36.56 an hour, and they top out at $45.43 an hour. And just to refresh your memory, we start out at $24 an hour. And something to keep in mind with Thurston County is that they also have a pretty competitive healthcare package. They have a 160-hour month schedule, and they are working under a contract. Nisqually Tribal, $36 an hour to $44 an hour, and also a very competitive medical package, and overtime compensation in both of these agencies are calculated, and it comes across as a benefit to the employee. So next slide. It should be noted, this is very important, that these are figures from 2022. So all of these figures do not reflect these agencies' increases in pay for the 2023 year. So Cosmopolis, these are topped out wages, less of a population, and they top out much greater than us at $35.72. Westport, similar population, tops out at $41.73. Elma, a little bit larger, but a comparable agency, tops out at $44.54. Long Beach, a little bit less of a population, and they top out at $38.22. They're approaching that $40 figure. McCleary, $38 with a population just in line with us, probably our most accurate comp right there. But again, comparing us to McCleary at the distance that they are away from us, is we're not trying to capture local talent, Tenino local people that we're trying to attract the Officer Johnsons of the county to come work for our agency. And Eatonville, a little bit larger than us, and they top out at $45.20 an hour. As you can see, the discrepancies in pay are at best significant and in some cases shocking. It is understood that compensation packages are largely driven by city budget. That does not, however, change the retention and recruitment challenges we are facing. Recruitment and retention of police officers is essentially market driven. A few years ago, there were thousands of police jobs excuse me, this should say, a few years ago, there were thousands of applicants and 5 or 6 positions open. You'd have agencies like Seattle PD that would literally have 10 positions and 6,000 applicants for those 10 positions. When I got hired, it was in a competitive pool of 1,500 people in 4 positions. The tides have completely shifted. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of jobs available right now, and agencies are offering $50,000 signing bonuses just to get people to sign up. Brand new cops, no academy experience, nothing. Agencies that have police officers are oftentimes offering double-digit retention bonuses to just get their officers to not leave. So it's nearly an impossible climate to retain good help right now at offering what we've worked hard, and the mayor and I have talked about it ad nauseum, and we've come so far in our wages, but it's nearly impossible to compete and have a competitive applicant pool with suitable applicants that we don't have to make considerations for in the current climate, and that's just where we're at. So there's a couple of things that aren't on the slides here that I think are important. We just had an example of some violent crime in the surrounding area. We've had, I don't know if I presented at a council meeting, but our call volume has doubled. Most of the violent crimes have increased within the city, although Councilmember Lawton is right, we do have the lowest crime rate in the county. But just the surrounding area, the wave is coming this direction, and I'm trying to get in front of it by setting a foundation. And by setting a foundation and retaining the help that we have and recruiting good help, it creates institutional knowledge, it creates that stability that we've always wanted, and in the years past we've had it at times, but it's no secret that we've kind of been in rebuild mode for 10 years in a row, and we have to do something to try to break this cycle. We've got new businesses that are already in the city, we've got new businesses that are being built and permits pulled, we've got a lot going on at the ranch. The amount of establishments that are serving alcohol now have doubled since I've been here. Crime trends in Thurston County obviously are out of control, and I think we would be naive to think that those trends are not going to make it to the city of Tenino. The city of Tenino is unable to compete with our current compensation package. We've already been over that. So currently the Tenino Police Department has 4 full-time police officer positions. We are unable to maintain 4 at our current pay scale. We cannot maintain the 4 positions that we've got. I'm currently proposing 3 options for review to assist with retention and recruitment. This is where it might be best if it turns into a conversation. So please, at any time, hit the small gavel and say, take a break and ask for clarification.
Not the big one.
So the current payroll budget for patrol officers is $238,343. Option 1, increase the pay scale to be more competitive with other Thurston County agencies. So let's soak that up for just a second. That is the proposed increase. And this comes with a condition that we suspend filling the 4th officer position. So this option would include an aggressive pay scale adjustment for our officers, and we would suspend filling the 4th patrol officer position and maintain a force of 3 plus me, code enforcement, and support staff. It's not ideal. I would like 4 officers, but somebody could say, Chief, you can hire 15. If I can't even keep 4, there's no point in me having space for 15 that I can't recruit. So as tough as it is to say we're gonna suspend hiring the 4th officer position, I think it's responsible to maintain what we've got and not dwindle down to 1 or 2. Option 1 proposal would decrease this year's budget by close to $3,000. So let's take a break there. This isn't based off of current budget position. This is based off of where we started, and if everything in a perfect world, doing the math, by not filling the 4th officer position, readjusting the pay scale, we would theoretically experience a net decrease of $3,000 in our labor budget. Now, that doesn't take into account unforeseen overtime, natural disasters, things like a pursuit, which I had 2 officers, one was here for an additional 6 hours that day. Those are things we just can't control because we don't know when people are going to be committing strong-armed robberies. So option 1 would be an aggressive increase in adjustment in the pay scale to be more competitive with neighboring agencies, not filling the 4th position, holding off on filling that 4th position until we see how things like a proposed public safety tax in the county may potentially affect us in the future, but not banking on those unknowns right now. We would suspend the hiring of that 4th position, and we would still theoretically maintain our budget, which we currently are over on as we stand now. This aggressive retention effort would positively affect our ability to retain and recruit highly qualified lateral officers for our city. That's the other thing. With this proposed new pay scale, we actually could recruit. And before this meeting tonight, this is no secret, word of this has been out amongst the agency and the city. An officer already received a call from another officer from another agency asking if it really was going to happen, and if it was going to happen, if they could apply. And this is a certified police officer already in good standing that's looking for change. I would ask this budget be carried through to the end of 2024, so there wouldn't be any ask for a police budget in 2024. So here's a side-by-side comparison chart on where we are currently and where I would propose that we be. So I'll talk about the elephant in the room and a lot of the difficulty with it. It's a pretty aggressive ask, but I've thought this through and through for over a year now, and I just don't see a workaround. I just don't see a workaround other than taking a serious step and then addressing that 4th officer position as our budget grows, tax base increases, and naturally we can afford to bring that 4th officer position. I understand that we're a small city. I understand that other employees of the city would like the same things, and I honestly mean this. Anybody who would like to be a Tenino police officer that is currently a city employee is more than welcome to apply. And when presented to the Civil Service Commission, any current city employee that wants to be a Tenino police officer would have 10% or 10 points added to their score in the competitive scoring process. So this might be difficult for some, and I understand that, but like I had stated earlier, this is essentially a market-driven position, and it's a red-hot market for police officers right now. Agencies paying $110,000 a year can't keep police officers because they're going to the agency that pays $145,000 a year. So it's difficult, and it's not fun for me to talk about either. I'm actually on vacation right now. So this is hard, but I feel like it's the cold hard truth. It's not a crisis. There's been a lot of thought put into how we can financially make this work. So essentially options 2 and 3, they mirror option 1, but on a temporary basis. I'm not a huge fan of options 2 and 3 because it still it may aid in me keeping what I've got now, but it's not going to allow me to recruit. Because options 2 and 3 don't include a permanent change to the pay scale. They would say, based off of our vacancy right now, we would take essentially those funds, do some sort of a temporary increase or a stipend, but then that would leave me in a position to recruit somebody and say, hey, we might be able to pay you more next year. I don't know, how about it? You want to come over? It just is not super appealing. And not to sound like we're asking for too much here, but if this does go through, we are still considerably behind in a lot of areas. They're not working under a contract. The healthcare benefits they're not doable. I mean, 40% is a low number. If you've got a couple of kids and a spouse that's not working, it's half your salary goes to healthcare. So we're still far behind, but this is going to attract an officer that maybe doesn't have a family, because the employees' health care is excellent with the city. And this isn't me as a department head or the chief of police browbeating the city. I understand where the city's at. I wholeheartedly do. And I know it's troubling and it's a tough decision, and I know that the mayor is in a tough spot here too. These are large asks. So, any questions on what we've gone over so far?
Got no problem with it.
I don't either.
With position number one, have no problem.
Show stage 6.
Pardon?
Is there a stage 6?
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
You know what? I'm going to make this easy for you. You can have this when I leave, Dan.
Okay.
Are there any questions for the chief?
So when are you going to bring it to us for formal adoption?
We will continue talking about this at the next meeting, and we should have something for you guys to consider.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
you,
thanks,
sir.
Chief.
Thanks, Chief. A good report.
Next up, Tenino Arts Check presentation.
Man, well, real quickly. I really am on vacation. I don't need to be rude.
Get out of here.
So I'm out.
So on behalf of Tenino Arts, in supporting our community through arts, we would like to present a check to the City of Tenino for $500 for the metal art banner project.
Yay.
How long can you keep them that way, Dan?
Well,
It needs to be at least this big.
hey,
go.
hey,
Oh, wait.
come on, this is- Okay. Well, you have to notice that the check is actually artistic. It's a Vincent Van Gogh check. Oh. Yeah, good check. Yes. Jenny Ball. Yes.
Linda's got to make sure it's not fake.
It is pretty.
Thank you, Tenino Arts. I would like to entertain a motion to accept the donation of $500 to help with the banner project.
So entertained.
Second.
It is moved and seconded to accept the donation. Is there any discussion?
Thank you very much.
Our pleasure.
Ours too.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Excellent. That brings us to public comments. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to provide public comment, now is your opportunity to do so.
Oath of office.
That's down further, isn't it?
Oh, public hearing, public comments.
If there's anyone in the audience that would like to provide public comment, we have no public hearings. Proclamations, we have none. Old business. Oath of office for Planning Commissioner Matthew Roundsley. So at our previous meeting, Matthew's appointment was confirmed. Tonight, we will swear him in. Shoeless.
He is shoeless. I thought he sounded funny when
All
he
right,
walked out.
City of Tenino, Washington, raise your left hand.
Right.
All right, repeat after me. I, Matthew Roundsley,
I, Matthew Roundsley,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Washington,
and ordinances and regulations
and the ordinances and regulations
of the City of Tenino,
of the City of Tenino,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
that I will faithfully and impartially
perform and discharge
perform and discharge
the duties of the office of Commissioner for the City of Tenino, Planning Commission, position number 4.
the duties and office of Commissioner for the City of Tenino, Planning Commission, position number 4,
According to law and to the best of my ability.
according to law, to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stand up. And shake hands. Stand up. Go ahead.
Page
Yeah.
27.
I'm old. I can't be the first one up all the time.
There we go. All right, we will,
Oh. Here, here,
Matthew, shake hands.
welcome. Thank you.
That's your
Congratulations.
notepad.
Thank you. Thank you.
Would you like to say anything while we got you there?
Sure. Is this on? I think it's on. Yeah, it's on. Okay. I'm very excited to join the Planning Commission and fulfill this office. I spoke a little bit at the Planning Commission and mentioned that I grew up in Tenino, K through 12, graduated valedictorian, was very involved in FFA in high school and have volunteered in the community ever since. Really, I think growth is inevitable, and our ability to shape the city in the ways that we want to protect that hometown feel while also supporting a growth of tax base and businesses is very important. So I'm very excited to take this task on.
And I'm very happy to hear you
All of
state
it.
it exactly that way.
Thank you, Matthew.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Next on the agenda is a 6-year street plan update.
I think you're on.
Oh, am I like presenting it?
Sure, Troy's not here.
Oh, I'm glad that showed up sideways in our.
Yeah, we gotta go like this.
Sorry.
Yeah, turn it
Thank
over.
you.
This is from Public Works. So Troy worked on this today and Friday with Courtney. This is basically so we can apply for a couple of grants. There's some TIB funding that we're working on trying to get for Park Ave. They're in order as the projects are priority. Number 1 is the highway from Mima Acres west.
Out to the new city limits.
Correct, and that bridge is an issue out there. Then it's Park Street is project number 2 to get that chip sealed from 6th Street to Howard Street. Old Military Road, Sussex, east to Old Military, and McClellan Street to Wickman, as well as Ritter Street. That must mean north.
So it's time to update our 6-year street plan. We've got money for what it was like chip sealing like 80% of the roads. There's still a few left, and there's some.
Sorry to interrupt you. There's
Go
a few
ahead.
that are just too far gone that can't be included in that chip seal
Yeah,
project.
and now there's more money available, and we need to update this street plan so that we can attempt to access some of those funds.
Yep.
So we are recommending a motion to approve the 6-year street plan as presented.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
As somebody on the Transportation Policy Board and Thruster Regional Planning Council, this is something that needs to actually be updated every year. And when we start sliding behind any funds that come up by surprise, and that happens every year, we wouldn't be eligible for it. That's why, and in case anybody's listening, that's why this is so important for us to have on our books.
Yes, sir.
Now, I think we do update it every year, don't we? Or we approve it
supposed
every
to.
year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but it's timely now.
Right.
So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? Did you say something, Ryan? Did you vote?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're
I'm-
outweighed.
I'm
You voted.
okay.
Okay. All right. Motion passes. Thank you. We have no new business. That brings us back down to reports. We were on clerk treasurer.
Yes. I'm going to first kind of pop onto the food bank, Tenino Community Service Center. Go ahead.
You skipped the RV ordinance that you added.
Oh, good point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. See, it's paying off already.
Already.
I'm going to go back to old business number 10, RV ordinance. We've been discussing this significantly. We have a proposed ordinance that we talked about in the work session. It was asked to be added to the agenda, and our new planning commissioner came in and reminded us. It is on the agenda, and it was asked to be placed there by Councilmember Lawton.
Move approval.
No.
Oh.
That's, hold on. Is that what you want to do? You want to approve the ordinance?
No, I thought we were going to send it back to the.
That's the motion you have to make. You know, if you make a motion to approve it,
Oh, no,
then
no,
you're
no.
just saying
Yeah, motion to send it back to the planning commission.
for the purpose of.
Their recommendation,
Okay.
pass or fail.
Right.
So there's a motion on the floor to move the amended ordinance back to the planning commission seeking recommendations. Is there any discussion?
Need a second?
Was there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I'm happy that me and Linda were able to meet and discuss this and put it forward. I think it's fair for everyone. My opinion.
Okay. Any further comments?
I think it is too.
Okay, no further comment. All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. This will be placed back on the agenda for the planning commission, asking for further comments and recommendations.
Do we have a time limit? There was none, so.
Not at this point.
Whenever they're ready.
Yep. It's nothing emergent. All right, that brings us back to clerk treasurer report.
Are you sure this time?
Yes, ask Matthew.
Does
Yeah, you're good.
anybody else want to go before me?
He's hired.
Nobody stops you.
Okay, so I talked to Jody today, again, from Tenino Community Service Center. She wanted me to make sure that we're being transparent with what's going on over there. So I'm going to relay this email for her. I know I already talked to the mayor a little bit about this a couple weeks ago, and I know I told you guys that we were going to work on extending their lease, which we're trying to meet in the middle. We're working with our attorney to hopefully try to get them into a 6-year instead of the yearly one. This is to help with some grants that they're working on. So this as well, Tenino Community Service Center is out of room. Therefore, we are looking to do the following with the WSDA grant. I have contacted Rainey Durand and Dan Penrose regarding this plan. Tenino Community Service Center would like to have your support for the following. Expansion. We need room for growth with our growing communities. To do that, we have devised a plan to put 2 20-foot shipping containers on the property. This would take ground prep, leveling 3-inch packed base fencing. The fence would expand to the sidewalk on Wickman Street with non-climbing slats that would match the trim of the warehouse, security cameras, and container placement. Tenino Community Service Center is currently faced with growing school district, our primary service area, and an ever-increasing senior population. There are between 1,200 and 1,300 students, with 35% of the kids coming from economically disadvantaged households. The number in Bucota is even higher, like 80 to 90%. Therefore, the implementation of the mobile food satellite makes Bucota families fed. For TCSC, Tenino Community Service Center, to continue to expand our food programs, we need food and a place to house the food, sort, and packaging. So essentially, she's saying the warehouse where they rent from us, they want to expand the fenced area, put 2 cargo containers, which will be screened, which is part of the ordinance. They will
Not
follow
just
the
down
rules.
here, but
Yeah.
the warehouse
Yeah.
down on.
Yep, there's no room over here. They've outgrown that space as well. So just putting it out to you guys. That
Yeah, so
we're
we're not
being
asking, there's no motion, there's no
Nope.
action to be taken, there's no permission to be asked. By the ordinances, it is allowed. We require that some type of screening be placed when you put a shipping container in a commercial space. That it's pretty liberal as to what that could be. Their proposal would be slats on a fence, just like they've got down there. We find that acceptable. The administration does, building official does. There's no cost to the city in any of this, so there's no ask. But I think that she is just wanting to share information and ensure that she has the support of the council as well as the administration.
Are they going to be putting in reefer trailers or just dry trailers?
Just dry trailers.
Okay.
You want a reefer trailer, huh?
Well, the warehouse, the refrigeration in that warehouse is fabulous, I know.
I meant something different.
Yeah, I understand.
We know how John flies.
Okay. For my report for clerk treasurer, we finished the drawdown for the playground grant. We got the final reimbursement for $70,000 on that. We are working on getting the pool done. Hopefully we'll be seeing some big ones in July. I was going to give a little update on the time capsule. Is that in your report, sir?
You're gonna let me talk about that.
Okay, I'll let you talk about that. The Purple Heart signs, I know I've talked with Elaine about this. I know we've been talking about this for so long. For some reason at the beginning, we were under the impression that the Purple Heart gave you 2 signs once you had the proclamation, and then you bought 2 additional ones at $40. Turns out they don't give you any signs. Turns out they just send you a place to call to order your own signs. And it turns out they're $88. So Elaine's working with the VFW as well as the auxiliary to purchase.
I've heard back from
Okay.
two of them.
Mm-hmm.
They called me from the VFW and said that wanted to know who to write the check to, and I said City of Tenino.
Awesome. Thank you.
So the other one, they told me they had to wait to the meeting.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because it
Yeah.
has to be approved, and so did the other one. So I'm quite sure I have 3 paid for.
Okay.
Awesome.
That's great. So just giving you guys an update on that. That's what the wait is. I'm waiting for the guy to send me over the proof. I don't really know. There's so many different ones. Some of them say, city of, and then is a Purple Heart city. He's new to it too. He's up north. It's a very strange. I kind of got the runaround on it, but we're getting there. Hopefully we'll have them very soon. The food bank expansion grants. I talked to you guys about Jody's stuff. Jessica really wanted me to let you guys know the Jubilee, July 8th. She would love to have all of you seated up on the stage. If you can come, please let her know so she has a chair for you. I know we have some very big names attending. It's going to be a big day.
What time?
It is going to be at 10 o'clock is the opening ceremony. So she was rummaging through City Hall today to try to find some old speeches, and it's going to be cool. So the last Jubilee meeting is this Thursday at the Corey House at 6 o'clock, if you can attend. And I already gave you the report on the dog park. So that's that.
Thank you.
Sure. He's next, so go ahead.
Perfect. Code enforcement, building official, Rainey Durand.
You're all those people.
I am everyone today. Building updates. He's issued 4 new permits in the month of June. There was a pre-con meeting last week at 472 Sussex for the future development. That's exciting. Inspections, the townhouses, underfloor inspection is completed, plumbing inspection for Sandstone Apartments, and a solar panel install. Code enforcement, he's got 4 new cases for the month of June. 3 are closed due to compliance, and 1 remains open. Citizen action, received 3 citizen action requests last week. Investigation of possible violation starts this week.
And there was a demo permit issued, I believe, for the houses on Lincoln Street.
Down
That was
here?
just, yeah.
I don't know anything
Okay.
about that.
That was an email that I think that came in after you went home, perhaps.
Oh, tonight?
Yeah.
Oh.
So, the house is over there. They're full demo permits on those, which is exciting. Those are,
What's he gonna do with the property, do you know?
yeah. Yeah, hopefully more residential.
Yeah, would be nice.
We need residential. Code enforcement, park specialist, city attorney, city planner, mayor. So, like usual, everybody else steals my thunder and talks about all the cool things going on here. But Jen has graciously allowed me to talk about a project, and I'm not going to say too much, but because I want to just put out a teaser that there was a bit of a kind of a secret project going on that we found a newspaper article, or our historians found a newspaper article from the 1910s. And, well, it would have been, I believe, 1923 when the city was rebuilt, that in the cornerstone of the building, there was a time capsule placed within the stone. And we have been working on ways and coming up with a plan that we could try to excavate the time capsule from 1923 to present and open up at the Jubilee on July 8th. So I will probably put out a press release sometime soon on our progress with that, and kind of give folks an update on where that's at and what we're trying to do. That's it.
No, I could think of something else you should tell about,
What's that?
our congressional record.
I
played that for the Bunko Gals.
okay. So the Congresswoman Perez read into the congressional record the Tenino is having its 150th anniversary. You can find the YouTube video on our website or on our Facebook page, in which she was in front of U.S. Congress at the Capitol talking about Tenino's 150th anniversary, and she will be joining us on the July 8th Jubilee.
And her great-grandparents are buried
She did
here
not.
at Tenino. They were
Not
did
say
not.
city?
Yes, she did not. She called it a town. You can bring that up with her on the 8th.
Actually, she called it a city, but then she called it a town.
Oh, because she was from back when it was founded.
Yeah.
It was a town. So hey, it's historically accurate. So that is very exciting to get that kind of attention. And as Jen mentioned in George's report at our recent steady meeting, there were representatives from Senator Murray's office, Congresswoman Strickland's office, and Congresswoman Perez's office, and we've never gotten that kind of attention from from our federal representatives before. So that is very encouraging.
We're pretty excited.
Yeah. Be that.
There's no report. They're done for this summer.
Solid waste.
Next week.
TCOM, Tenino School Board. School's out for summer.
I know. So, sorry, I have to read it off my phone because it's a long name. But Capital Region Educational Services District has named Holly Johnson as its 2024 Regional Teacher of the Year. She's the special education teacher over at Parkside, and on Monday's meeting with the school board, she was recognized for that. So, I know I was really happy to see that she got that because she's just
She's in the
amazing.
running for national now, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Also, summer lunches, now that we are into summer lunches have started again. So June 21st is when they started, and they end August 25th, and they go Monday through Friday from 11 to 12:30 over at the middle school.
Do they have
The max age is 18.
Do they have the high school pizzas?
Sometimes they have the pizza. Yeah. So that goes until August 25th. That's everything.
Thank you. TPB.
3 weeks.
TRPC.
This Friday.
Legislature, no report. Public comment period number 2. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to provide public comment, now's your second opportunity to do so. Announcements.
I'm having a party.
Okay. We
What time, Linda?
can't no campaigning while you're okay. Okay. You threw me off. There is now a new website for the Ag Park that is live. You can find it on the city's Facebook page. So it is an independent website that is specifically for the Ag Park. We have building packages on the ground out there. So there is steel laying down there that is going to be getting foundations to be put on, so very soon you should be seeing things go up. There's also a big sign out there that shows us what's going to be built out there. So that's exciting. Things are moving out there. That is it for my announcements.
It's getting closer. As you all
It
know,
actually is
Yeah.
getting closer now.
It is getting closer. So you'll hear me talk a little bit about this for the next few meetings. I can't remember if the first responders potluck barbecue is 10 or 11 years old now. Dan was at the very first one. If he was interested, he could find out for sure.
It all kind of blends into the wake.
Yeah. So September 9th, it's always the second Saturday, is declared at last year by the proclamation to recognize our first responders here in the great city of Tenino, and we now are great city of Tenino as do our proclamation. No longer just the city of Tenino. Good thing I wrote it up that way. But anyway, I've got live entertainment. I can't remember the guy's name because I just looked at it. It's going to be September 9th, noon till 3. It's always short. Hamburgers, hot dogs, soda, water, pony rides. Again, live music, same as always. And again, this is just to say thank you to the first responders of Thurston County and all the things that they do for us. And as you heard today, some of them are quite underpaid. So,
Is it gonna be in the same spot that it was last year, Kelly?
yes,
Right, by the stage?
yes.
New and improved stage.
New
Yes.
and improved stage.
All right. Meeting adjourned.
Non